Hello. Many people wonder if we will eat food in heaven. With our new bodies, will it be necessary? This may sound silly to some who consider eating and drinking to be unspiritual, but what does the Bible tell us about this topic? There are actually a number of passages that indicate that we will in fact eat in heaven. We will certainly have bodies, which makes it possible to eat. But since we will never die in heaven, it will not be necessary to eat in order to stay alive. The scriptures tell us that after his resurrection, Jesus ate with people. We read in John 21:12, where the resurrected Jesus invited his disciples. He said, "Come and have breakfast." He had actually prepared a meal for them. In the next two verses, we read, Jesus came and took the bread and gave it to them and did the same with the fish. This was now the third time Jesus appeared to his disciples after he was raised from the dead. While this passage doesn't actually say that Jesus ate with his disciples, it is implied. In Luke 24 verses 42 and 3, we find the disciples giving Jesus some food to eat. It says, "So they gave him a piece of broiled fish and some honeycomb, and he took it and ate it in their presence." These passages and many others that we will examine emphatically link eating and drinking in the resurrected state. Jesus actually stated that he would one day eat again with his followers. In Mark 4, verse 25, it says, "Truly I say to you, I will not drink again of the fruit of the vine until that day when I drink it new in the kingdom of God." We also know from the Old Testament that when God and the angels took on human forms, they ate human food. One such example was when God and two angels visited Abraham, as it's mentioned in Genesis, the 18th chapter. The Old Testament also tells us that during the millennial reign of Christ, he will prepare a banquet on Mount Zion. Isaiah 25 verse 6 says, "And in this mountain the Lord of hosts will make for all people a feast of choice pieces, a feast of wines on the lees, of fat things full of marrow, of well-refined wines on the lees." Feasting involves celebration, fun, and it is profoundly relational. People who love each other love to eat meals together. Revelation 19:9 tells us, "Then the angel said to me, Write, blessed are those who are invited to the wedding supper of the Lamb." One of the most conspicuous evidences for eating in heaven is the tree of life. Revelation 22 verse 2 says, "On each side of the river stood the tree of life, bearing 12 crops of fruit, yielding its fruit every month. And the leaves of the tree are for the healing of the nations." Will we eat the fruit of this tree? I think that's what it says in verse 14 that comes later, when it says, "Blessed are those who wash their robes, that they may have right to the tree of life." We will have access to the fruit of this tree. There's going to be new fruit every month from this tree, of which we will partake. You and I have never eaten food in a world untouched by the fall and the curse. The palate and the taste buds were injured in the fall, as well as the food sources. The best tasting food we've ever eaten was not nearly as good as it must have tasted in the Garden of Eden before the fall. That will also be the case in the new earth. The best meals you will ever eat are all still ahead of you in heaven. If it seems trivial or unspiritual to anticipate such things, remember that it is God who promises that in heaven we will sit at tables and feast and enjoy the finest foods and drinks. I do think He wants us to enjoy and look forward to eating at His table.